Every human being, no matter how confident they appear, carries the same invisible burden, the fear of judgment. We dress a certain way, speak a certain way, post carefully edited moments online, all in the hope that others will see us in a certain light. Approval has become a silent currency, and rejection feels like bankruptcy. It's not vanity, it's biology. Our ancestors needed to belong to survive, and our modern brains still treat social disapproval like a threat to life itself. But there's a way out of this loop. You can't erase your need for connection, but you can build emotional armor, a psychological shift that turns judgment into power instead of poison. It doesn't mean becoming cold or detached. It means learning to stay centered no matter what others think. Let's start with why caring about other people's opinions hurts so much. When someone disapproves of you, your brain lights up in the same region that registers physical pain. That's right. Rejection doesn't just sting metaphorically. It actually activates the same neural pathways as being burned or cut. Evolution wired us this way, to keep us aligned with the tribe. In the wild, rejection meant isolation, and isolation meant death. So your nervous system still interprets judgment as danger. That's why your heart races when you're criticized, or why embarrassment makes you feel like hiding. But what was once a survival mechanism has now become emotional handcuffs. In a world of 7 billion people, your brain still acts like you're living in a village of 50, terrified of exile. The trick isn't to stop caring completely, it's to care differently. You can't turn off empathy or your social instincts, but you can decide whose opinions actually count. Psychologists call this selective significance. Your brain has limited emotional bandwidth, so if everyone's opinion matters, no one's truly does. The first step in building emotional armor is defining your inner circle, the handful of people whose feedback comes from respect, not judgment. These are the voices that refine you, not confine you. Everyone else? They're just background noise in the grand experiment of your life. Here's where the emotional armor trick begins. Instead of seeing judgment as a personal attack, reframe it as data. Every criticism, rejection, or disapproval is a mirror reflecting someone's internal map of the world, not a measurement of your worth. When you realize that people's opinions are projections of their own insecurities, beliefs, and biases, you stop taking them as truth. That coworker who mocks your ambition might secretly resent their own lack of drive. The friend who calls you too intense might be uncomfortable with their own passivity. Most people don't see you. They see through the lens of their own unresolved stories. The more you internalize that, the freer you become. But this freedom requires one core shift, moving your sense of validation from external approval to internal alignment. Every time you make a decision based on what feels right for you, not what will please others, you're reinforcing that inner compass. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it strengthens with repetition. At first, it feels uncomfortable because your nervous system equates disapproval with danger, but the discomfort is actually the sign of growth. The moment you choose integrity over image, you start becoming bulletproof. You stop chasing acceptance and start commanding respect. One powerful exercise is the audience test. Before you act, post, or speak, ask yourself, who is my audience right now? If the answer is everyone, you're guaranteed anxiety. But if the answer is my future self, you instantly realign. You stop performing and start expressing. You stop proving and start building. The only person who will live with every decision you make is you. Everyone else's opinions are temporary echoes that fade as fast as they arrive. Another layer of emotional armor is radical self-acceptance. Most of our sensitivity to judgment doesn't come from others. It comes from the parts of ourselves we've already judged internally. If someone calls you lazy, and deep down you fear they might be right, that comment pierces you. But if you've made peace with your imperfections, criticism loses its sting. Self-acceptance disarms shame. It's not about pretending to be flawless. It's about knowing your flaws and refusing to let them define you. The more you own your story, the less power anyone else has to weaponize it. Neuroscience supports this shift. When you practice self-acceptance, your brain's prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thought and self-regulation, calms the amygdala, the fear center. That means fewer emotional overreactions to external opinions. You literally train your brain to distinguish between real danger and imagined social threats. Over time, this rewiring turns criticism from a wound into feedback, and rejection from a verdict into redirection. But there's another layer most people miss. Caring too much about judgment isn't just fear, it's ego. The belief that everyone is thinking about you all the time is, in itself, a kind of self-centered illusion. The truth is, people are mostly thinking about themselves, just like you are. They forget your mistakes faster than you think. Your embarrassing moments are tomorrow's mental dust for everyone else. Realizing this isn't cynical, it's liberating. You're not on trial. You're part of a world full of people who are too busy worrying about their own image to obsess over yours. There's a moment that happens when you finally let go of the need to impress. Peace. You start doing things not because they'll be applauded, but because they feel right. You begin speaking truthfully instead of strategically. You wear what you like, pursue what fulfills you, and express opinions without rehearsing them for safety. You start to attract people who resonate with your authenticity instead of those drawn to your performance. Ironically, the less you chase approval, the more genuine respect you receive. People sense when someone operates from self-respect instead of self-defense. Still, it takes practice. Emotional armor isn't about ignoring feedback or isolating yourself from connection. It's about knowing that your worth isn't up for public negotiation. When someone criticizes you, you can pause and ask, is there truth in this that can help me grow? If yes, use it. If not, release it. Either way, you win. You either evolve or stay grounded, never shattered. That's what growth-oriented resilience looks like. And when rejection comes, and it will, remember that it's not a closed door. It's a redirection. Every no from someone else creates space for a yes that's more aligned. When you stop seeing rejection as proof of inadequacy, you start using it as evidence of momentum. Each time you're judged and stay authentic anyway, you build thicker emotional armor. Not the kind that numbs you, but the kind that lets you walk through fire without losing yourself. So here's the truth. No one tells you. Freedom isn't found in being liked. It's found in being real. The world doesn't reward perfection. It rewards conviction. The moment you stop living by other people's opinions, you start writing your own narrative. The critics fade, the noise dulls, and what's left is clarity, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are enough as you are. That's the emotional armor trick, not apathy, not defiance, but mastery of focus. You stop caring what everyone thinks because you finally know what you think. And when that happens, the world doesn't shrink in judgment, it expands in possibility. Because you're no longer living to be accepted, you're living to be alive.